It
You
is
got
the
it.
13th of March, the Rabbi Levitt, Pele Yoetz.
Oh, I just wanted to ask you a question, Lou. Will you be interested in me showing you where the Rambam is and reading the Rambam out?
Yeah.
You could be. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. If we can read it.
Okay.
I have the Rambam, but it's all in Hebrew.
Okay. So here, let me get my Rambam and we'll take you through it.
What are you getting? I'll see if I can get the same thing.
Okay. So this is you probably have a I'm assuming you have a standard set of Rambam, which has I don't know, about 6 or 7 books.
Right.
And you're looking for the book, which if you look on the side of the book, right, it'll say on the towards the bottom of the side of the book, it'll say Mishpatim.
Mishpatim. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll look for it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, is this the correct one?
Right. That should be it.
Great.
Mishpatim and Shoftim, it says on it. Right.
Yes.
Okay, so now in Mishpatim, you go to Hilchos Malve V'Loive.
Okay, I'm in Sanhedrin. Let's see. Mishpatim.
In other words, the Sanhedrin is in Sefer Shoftim. See, in other words, it says on the side, it says Mishpatim and Shoftim, because those are the names of 2 separate Svarim in the Mishnah Torah. There's 14 different. He divides the whole compendium into 14 different Svarim. So you're looking for Mishpatim, which is the first of the 2 Svarim in this volume.
Okay, so it begins with Sechiros. And then I have She'ela Ufakdon.
Right. You have Schiros, Hilchos Schiros. Then you have Hilchos Shelu Pikadon. And then the next set of halachas is Hilchos Malva B'Loiva. That's what we're looking for.
Okay, I got it.
Now, we've got the right set of halachas. Only thing we have to do right now is find the citation for the Rambam. This is in Perek Hay.
All right, I see Daled, Gimel Daled. Hay. Okay, I'm in Hay.
Perek Hay. and this is in the halacha aleph.
Okay, so it says ha'akum.
Right.
All right, I'm with it. I'm with you.
So it says ha'akum v'ger toshav lovin mehen umalvin otam beribus. This is the Rambam took this right out of the Mishnah in our Gemara. That's the Mishnah. Oh, here comes Meir. Ashenemar lo tashich liachicha. Okay, so lachicha asur ulishar ha'olam mutar. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
Morning, Mayor.
Good morning. Where are we holding?
We are in the Rambam. We're making one last comment over here on the on our learning of lending. And
Okay.
we're learning the Rambam, what the Rambam has to say about lending to non-Jews.
Oh, okay. Very good.
So if you have a Rambam, you could take a look along with us. We're going through it right now. Do you have a Rambam? Or
No, I don't. I'm just going to listen for now. Okay.
Fine.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So the Rambam says that so far what he said is that it's permissible to lend to a non-Jew for ribis. He has not yet said that it's a mitzvah. He just quoted the Mishnah. The Mishnah says that it's permissible. Loivin mehen umalvin otam. You can just like you can lend to them. You could pay to you could pay to them ribis. You can lend to them with ribis. How do we know that? The Rambam says, because the pasuk says lo sashich la'achicha.
So Malvin means to borrow.
No, actually Malvin means to lend, and Lovin means to borrow.
Ah, thank you.
Just like like he says, I don't know why he said it in that order, because in his halachas he calls it hilchas malva b'loiva, the halachas of the lender and the borrower.
Right.
He switched it around over here, and not only that, he didn't quote the pasuk correctly either. Doesn't say lo sashich lachicha. It says ulachicha lo sashich. So it's I don't know, whatever. But in any case,
Why does it say ha'akum v'ger toshav? Is that an and? It's a non-Jew and a ger toshav?
yes, both of them. Even
But
in other words, even a ger toshav, you could pay, you could charge him ribis.
But isn't a ger toshav an akum?
Okay, I mean, yes, but it's a different category. You might right. He's somebody who's accepted upon himself certain mitzvahs.
Right.
So he's in a. You might have thought to say that since he's accepted upon himself the Sheva mitzvahs b'nei Noach, perhaps the halacha for him is different than it is for a non-Jew who has not accepted any halachas, who still does avodah zarah,
Right.
and all the other isurim.
Right. Got it.
So this in fact is the language of the Mishnah. This is the language of the Mishnah that's what it says in the Mishnah.
Okay.
Okay. So the Rambam says that lo sashich lachicha. It says in the Rambam says, at least the words over here in our sefer say that quotes the pasuk as lo sashich lachicha. That's the authority for the din of the Rambam over here. And the Rambam makes an inference. Lachicha asur. This it says don't charge ribis. Don't pay ribis is to your lachicha. Lachicha asur. That's what the pasuk is saying. L'shar ha'olam, but to everyone else who's not achicha, mutar, it's permissible. Okay, so now the Rambam says over here, u'mitzvahs aseh lahashich la'akum. The Rambam says, and not only is it mutter, and we could have derived that from the inference of this, that it says that only to your brother you're not allowed to charge ribis and pay ribis. But the Rambam says that it's, in fact, the other part of the pasuk is coming to tell me that it is a mitzvah, a positive mitzvah, to charge ribis. Mitzvahs aseh lahashich la'akum. Where do we know that it's a mitzvah aseh to do so? To make that it's a mitzvah to charge him ribis when you give him a loan? Shene'emar, because it says in the pasuk, l'nachri sashich. That's the first part of the pasuk. And then the Rambam says, "Mipi hashmua, lamdu, shazu mitzvah saseh v'zehu din Torah." We have a mipi hashmua. We have a tradition that has been passed down, that the correct interpretation of the words of the pasuk, that it says l'nachri sashich, means that it is a mitzvah aseh to charge ribis to the non-Jew. Zehu din Torah. This is a Torah. That's a Torah commandment.
So when it says Ashmua Lamdu, it's talking about the oral Torah that was transmitted to Moshe by Hashem?
Right. I believe so. Yeah, it's an interesting expression that the Rambam put over here. He doesn't often say that. He just says shenemar. That's what the pasuk. That's the way we understand the pasuk. Just like he said in the first time he quoted the second part of the pasuk. He didn't say mipi hashmua. Here he's saying mipi hashmua. That this is the correct interpretation of this part of the pasuk, l'nachri sashich, is that it's a mitzvah saseh to charge ribis to the non-Jew. And so there you have the there's the source that it is a mitzvah saseh. And of course, you see that you have an awful lot of commentary over here. The commentators, the three main commentators on the Rambam on the page, they're all going to town on this Rambam. Most notably, the Levitt right there on the spot disagrees with the Rambam. Asagas Levitt, you see the Asagas Levitt?
Sagas.
That's where that asterisk by the word mitzvah is going to.
I see the asterisk, but I don't see the Levitt. I see the Lechem Mishnah. I see the Mishnah Lamelech. I see the Haghos Mios and the Migdal Avos.
The Hasagas Levitt should be right next to the column of the Rambam. It's a different column, and on the top of the.
I see it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, 1 second. Okay. Okay, so the Levitt is the he's like the Tosfos on the Rambam. He's the
Is the laundry done? I put it in the drawer. Oh, thank you.
Is it possible? I forgot to, we have a class today. Could you print that out?
so the Levitt says over here, mitzvah say lahashich. It says Aleph. Omer Avram. That was his name, Avram ben David. That's the Levitt. Rabbi Avram ben David. That's the Levitt. So Omer Avram, ani lo matzasi shmua zu. says the Levitt. He says, I didn't find this shmua anywhere that the Rambam is talking about. Mi pi shmua. Where's the what's the source for this shmua that the Rambam is telling us? I don't have it, says the Levitt. Ulai toa b'masha matzah b'sifri. Says the Levitt. Perhaps the Rambam, in learning this Sifri, erred. He made a mistake. Shenemar, because it says over there in Parshas Kiseitse, that's where this pasuk appears. Shenemar Sham, it says over there, Lenachri Sashif. It says in the Sifri is one of the midrashim on Sefer Devorim, and it expounds upon the verses. It has different drushes over there, and it says like this: L'nakri sashich zu mitzvah saseh. So what does that mean? That the Sifri which is the medrash that brings the drushes on the psukim from Parshas Devorim. What does it mean that it says L'nachri Sashich? Zu mitzvah saseh. This is a positive mitzvah from the Torah. Says the Levitt, no, that's not what it means. The Rambam made an error. What does it mean? Peshu mishum dehavale lav haba mechlal essay shelo yashich liYisrael. Right? That's what we saw in the Gemara in Bava Metzia. That the Gemara understood that the pasuk of L'nachri Sashich doesn't mean that it's a mitzvah to lend when you make a loan to a non-Jew, you lend him with ribis. That it's a mitzvah, but rather that it is it's a source for making a violation of an essay when a Jew makes a loan to another Jew with ribis. So that way the Jew is in violation of two mitzvahs min Torah. One is regarded as a lab, and the other one is regarded as an essay. This is what we said in the Gemara in Bava Metzia, according to. That's what the Gemara said over there, without getting back into all of that. So in any case, you see that the Levitt disagrees with the Rambam. The Levitt holds that it's not a mitzvah saseh. And this that it says in the Sifri mitzvah saseh, the Levitt said, no, it doesn't really mean that. It means like the Gemara in Bava Metzia says. So anyway, that's the beginning of the discussion over here. And the various commentators over here are going to take sides with the Rambam and against the Rambam. And I believe, if I remember correctly, so there's some that hold like the Rambam, but there are certainly those like the Levitt that do not hold like the Rambam. There's a split.
What does it say in Bet? Asur Chachamim.
Asru Chachamim sheyeh Yisrael malva esa akum beribis kitzutza elo b'kedei chayav. The Chachamim they forbade that a Jew should make a loan to a non-Jew for ribis ketzutza, a clear in the contract written loan for 100,000 and you'll pay me back 120. That's called ribis ketzutza. It's fixed clearly into the agreement. Ela b'kedei chayav, except if it is for the sake of the lender's livelihood, that he needs this for his he needs this for his livelihood.
So that's contradicting Aleph.
Why? What's the contradiction?
They're saying it's usher, and Aleph saying it's a mitzvah.
The Rambam is saying that the Torah's mitzvah is Torah made a mitzvah out of lending it, and that the Chachamim came along and said only if it's for his livelihood. The Chachamim restricted the application of the mitzvah. only for his livelihood,
Right.
which is consistent.
So that's a decree of the Chachamim. That's a
Yeah.
offense.
Right. Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So
So when the Pele Yoetz says it's a mitzvah to lend with interest to a non-Jew, what is he doing with the gezerah of the Chachamim, which is saying it's not a mitzvah. You can only do it if it's for livelihood purposes.
that's the sense in which he's understanding the mitzvah.
So he's saying it's a mitzvah to lend with interest to a non-Jew for the livelihood of the Jew.
Right. Right.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. Very good. All right, so now we're gonna go to where we're holding in the Pele Yoetz. And where are we holding in the Pele Yoetz over here? We got up to the letter Vav. And we read I believe, the first paragraph of Patronos, monetary concessions, on page 255. Oh, and we actually we did more than that. Yeah, I think we got up to page 257, the second paragraph, nevertheless. Right, or did we do even more than that? Oh, yeah, okay, I think that's what we did. Is that right? We did get up to, I'm just thinking we didn't. Yeah, that's, I think, where we got up to. Fine.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay, fine. So Alan, you want to start off nevertheless?
Yeah. Nevertheless, in regards to making monetary concessions for the sake of a mitzvah, every man can fulfill his responsibility and say, I have achieved. But in this regard, there is a quota. 1/10 is the accepted norm, and 1/5 is the fullest amount. The person who complies with these
You're in
levels.
and out, Alan.
What? What's that?
You're going out and coming back in and going out again.
All right, just start over again.
Yeah, much better.
Okay, yeah, well, I changed my,
No, can't hear you. Are you talking?
nevertheless, in regards to making monetary concessions for the sake of a mitzvah, every man can fulfill his responsibility and say, I have achieved. So in this regard, there is a quota, 1/10 is the accepted norm, and 1/5 is the fullest amount. A person who complies with these levels of giving will never be shamed nor stumble. There is a kind of concession which is evil and a bad character trait. For example, someone who is willing to make concessions with the money of his friend and increases his embezzlement without his knowledge or permission, even if his friend designated him as an agent to make a specific expenditure from his monies. Nevertheless, this is from those things that have a limit, and the agent must accurately assess the mindset of the sender and not splurge too much. If he violates the intention of his friend, then he has stolen from him and violated. You shall love your fellow Jew like yourself. Learn in a Mishnah in Avos 2:12. Your friend's money should be as precious unto you as your own. Nevertheless, he should not be too stingy when he has an accurate assessment of how much he would be willing to spend. The rule is the same for community trustees. They should never splurge too much nor spend too little, for one sins with something that does not belong to him. One must balance his decision judiciously according to the
Can't hear him again.
place and the time. All things of this nature require wisdom to act appropriately without excess or deficiency. Also, expenditures for oneself and for one's household require deliberate measure. For one has the means, he should purchase things for himself and increase the honor of his home. Let him eat, drink, and dress according to his affluence and his blessing.
Can everybody hear Alan? Can everybody hear me?
I can
We
hear
can hear
Alan.
you. It's
Here
fine.
you.
Okay, I could hear you, Alan. Are you talking now, though? Can't hear you now.
I can't hear him now either.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now,
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
just when you said, can you hear me now? I heard you. Okay,
No, Robert, I can hear you better now too.
okay, good. Roy, can you hear us?
Can everybody hear everybody?
Roy, can you hear me?
I can hear you with these on.
I can
Oh,
hear you.
okay.
I can't hear you with them off.
Okay. Very good. Okay, so this is what's the subject of this over here is he calls this what is a person when he calls it vatranut, to be mavater, to concede, I guess, to make a concession, monetary concession. So basically the rule is that in regard to his monetary concessions, he fulfills his he has responsibility to do chesed with his wealth. And the accepted norm is 1/10, and if he wants to go above and beyond that accepted norm, he could go up to 1/5. And interesting, I think I remember Rav Moshe saying that in regard to some individuals, they can even go beyond that. But the Gemara is talking about the majority of individuals, overwhelming majority of individuals. This should be the range. But there's some individuals that the Gemara is not referring to, and so that's another story. But that's the range over here. And he makes a promise, the Pele Yoetz. Person that complies with these levels of giving will never be shamed nor stumble. So there you have a promise from the Pele Yoetz that you're doing the mitzvah of doing chesed, giving to other Jews with your money. Then that's a tremendous mitzvah. Nothing can go wrong. Okay. Now we go further.
But what about this, the
Yeah.
ending of this paragraph?
Yeah.
Where it says, sorry, now I missed it.
Oh yeah, right, yeah. Also expenditures for oneself and one's household require deliberate measure. He has to deliberate in regard to how much he's going to spend on himself. And then he says, if one has the means, he should purchase things for himself and increase the honor of his home. He could eat, drink, and dress according to his affluence and his blessing. Yeah.
So that last sentence doesn't seem right to me,
Why not?
because if you're acting in accordance with the affluence of your blessing, that sounds to me to be showing off. Look how much money I have. I can afford this really expensive car. I can afford these expensive clothes.
Mhm.
I would think that a person should be modest. I mean, you shouldn't suffer if you have the money to be able to afford nice things. I'm not saying you should suffer, but you shouldn't go beyond what you need.
So you want to know what's the source for a gvir to have a big house? Why can't he just have a house like everybody else? Why can't he have a car just like everybody else? Why can't he just have all of his personal items just like other people who are not poor? Why does he have to have in a category which is above and beyond the middle class? Let the upper class live like the middle class. Who says that they got to live like the upper class?
Exactly.
Where does it say this in the Torah? Where does it say this? Okay. Well, presumably, this did Chazal say that someone who's blessed with more than what he needs he only has to give a tenth, and if he wants to be generous, he could give a fifth. That leaves him 80%. So he's not regarded as being it's not, in other words, it's not intrinsically wrong to be left with 80% or even 90% of his wealth. The Torah does not require a wealthy person to give more than that. That's where I would understand the source for this is. We don't find anywhere that it's usser. So but I'll grant you, it seems like he's saying something even in a positive sense. He's not saying we allow it. He's saying if he has the means, he should do it. What's the source for that? Why should he do it? You're saying. Okay, so as far as that goes, you don't usually hear drushes about this because that's usually not what the rabbis are saying from the pulpit, to encourage everyone to spend according to their means, because they're you don't have to tell them that. Over here, we find an interesting thing. The Pele Yoetz is telling them that that's what they should do. So you're wondering, why does the Pele Yoetz need to tell him that? You don't have to worry about him. He'll as long as you told him that what he has to give is 10%, or if he wants to be generous, 20%, then we can rest assured that he understands on his own that he's got he's going to be able to spend the other 80% if he wants. He'll be able to live very well. Okay, so what we have to do over here, we have to keep this what it says over here, and then when we get to Ayin Hara, and when we get to causing other people to feel jealous of you, we have to see what he says over there. Right? So he said over here, a person of means can and even, you know what? First, let me just see what it says in the Hebrew. Let's see how strong the language in the Hebrew is. Is it as strong as it is in the English? The English sounds pretty strong. He should. Okay. Okay. וגם אם להוציא הוצאות לצורכו וצורך אנשי ביתו יודו הדו צורך שיהיה במידה. Okay, for this person, his expenditures that he makes for himself and so hada, his hand is there. Tzorich sheyeh b'mida. It should be with a measure. Shouldn't be out of control. Shouldn't be exorbitant, but it should be b'mida. It should be measured. One second over here. Maybe I'm If he has, though, however, it sounds like he was talking about somebody who has to watch himself. But let's say we're talking about the person that says im yeshlo, he has, he's loaded. Okay, so now what? Yetiv loy v'yarbe kavod beisoy. Okay, says the Pele Yoetz, if a person is wealthy, yetiv loy v'yarbe kavod beiso, he should. It's also very emphatic. Yetiv lo, he should. He should go ahead and be marba the kvod of his house, increase the honor of his house. V'yochel v'yishta v'yiskase kefi se'esoy ish kever kaso. Okay. That's what he said. A person who is wealthy, he should live as a wealthy individual. That's what he says. Maybe he means that he's allowed to. Sounds like it's saying that he should. You ask me. That's what it sounds like. Seems to me it would be hard pressed to say that he's allowed to. So you want to know why? What's the point of him doing like that? So I'll tell you one thing that I once remember hearing. I think it maybe even was connected to a certain story. In regard to a fundraiser who was not just an ordinary fundraiser, but perhaps he was a famous Rosh Hashiva or something of that sort. The point was like this. A person who is a wealthy individual, if you're going to tell him, you have to live, you can't live like a wealthy person. You got to live, in a frugal fashion like everyone else. You got to live, no riches for you. You gotta, the fact you have a lot of money, that's totally irrelevant. If we don't allow him to be generous with himself, so how are we going to expect this person, who's not necessarily the greatest tzaddik in the world, to be generous with people who don't have, or institutions that need him? That's asking him an awful lot. No one said he's the greatest tzaddik in the world. For you, live frugally, and for others, be generous with them. So therefore, if we understand that that's perhaps too much for him, because what's the person going to say? He says, look, I'm living way below my means. Why can't you also do so like that? See where you could cut down. See where you could spend less. Everybody's got to do that. Even I, who could spend so much more, I have to do that. So he doesn't see that generosity is something that needs to be done. He's not going to be so generous with his money. but we want him to be generous with his money. We want him for his own sake to be generous with his money. There's a great mitzvah over here that he can accomplish with being generous with his money. How are we going to encourage him and help him to be generous with his money? By allowing him and even encouraging him to be generous with himself.
It's true.
And therefore, if he is being told that he can be generous with himself and he's not meant to feel bad or guilty about the fact that he is generous with himself, and that's what he wants, and that's what he or whatever it is, that's going to encourage him and allow him and help him to say, you know, I'm generous with myself. I can be generous with other people too. And then he's going to have a lot of mitzvahs with his money. He's going to do a lot of mitzvahs like that. He's going to support institutions. He's going to support poor people. He's going to do a lot of mitzvahs with his money. Because like that, he's able to hear the idea of generosity. That way he's living within his means, and we're allowing him to live within his sphere of generosity. He lives in a world of generosity. That's one idea that I've heard in this regard as a possible explanation of why we find this situation. Okay.
11:29.
Okay, 11:29. But he's not going to be able to make his fortune lending to non-Jews with ribbis, though. That's that the Rambam says is asur, only for his livelihood. So, but there's a lot of other ways for rich people that they make a lot of money. Yeah. Baruch Hashem. Okay, we say goodbye to Mayor.
Okay. Have a good day, everyone.
Mayor,
Yes.
how did it go? This with the link.
Oh, I was never able to do it. So it didn't go well at all.
Oh, sorry. What and Barry not either.
No, Barry, I called Barry. He couldn't help me. And so we just didn't have the class today.
Oh dear. All right.
Okay. I'll have to learn how to use Zoom, I guess.
Yeah.
I couldn't connect to Rabbi First either, if that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Well, I think Rabbi First had he had his own communication problem.
Oh,
And
Yes.
maybe that's why I couldn't connect to him either, because it's his internet, not, his computer or whatever. I don't know.
right.
So-
Alan, no class today?
No.
No, not according to what Rabbi said.
Okay, thank you for sending me that email.
Hmm.
Okay,
All right.
So-
Yeah.
everyone should have a good day.
Okay, you too, Mayor.
Thank you.